Hello everybody, welcome to Marketing Analytics course. This is the first module, Introduction to R Programming, and my name is Dr. Sagar Chatterjee, Vinod Gupta School of Management, IIT Kharagpur. I will be taking this course for you. So Introduction to R Programming. So first we have to discuss before we jump in this thing that why we are doing R Programming. We will do hands-on of marketing analytics. Now, hands-on can actually be done using various software, but we have chosen Excel for some of the smaller problems and R programming for a bigger problem. Now, Excel is something that is almost inevitable in today's management era. All people, all I would say managers actually use spreadsheet modeling, and even the academicians who teaches managers, future managers, will also require to know the nitty-gritties of Excel, and we will actually majorly focus on how the various features of Excel can be used in marketing problem solving. On the other hand, the problem with Excel is Excel can generally, till now what we have seen, that Excel becomes a little bit of limited when the data size is big. If the data size, the number of rows is more than 6 lakhs, Excel actually has some problem. So, it is better to use a software which is handy to deal with a little bit of larger size of data. Now, we have multiple software, proprietary and non-proprietary open source, which we have in our hand, but we have chosen R because one reason it is open source. The second reason is it has huge support. So, there are lots of resources available online. You can learn it on your own. We will be actually teaching you a little bit, but you can learn it on your own as well. Another option is Python, obviously, but Python is more used for the deployment when you create a software which will be deployed for a automated kind of a problem solving, but R is more good for research oriented work, and marketing analytics is often back end research oriented work. So, we will focus on R programming. Now, R, I told that it is online, it is the open source, available online, freely downloadable. So, before we jump in, we have to learn that how to download it and how to install the R programming. We will have a few sessions on R programming before we jump into the actual marketing analytics, so that you become handy with the software. So, the first thing is this particular presentation will show you how to install R and R Studio, and I will discuss about R Studio also, and then today we will cover these aspects like vector, matrix, data manipulation, a little bit, if else functions in a few probably 1 or 2 sessions. Now, installation of R, that is the first job. If you want to install R, you have to go to this particular link. You can also go to Google and search for CRAN R or something like that, or R download or something like that. It will ultimately lead you to this particular thing. I have chosen Windows because I use Windows. If you use some other OS, then you can use corresponding R software. So, you have to go to this particular link and click on install R for the first time. So, it will be written there. You have to click on that. That will actually direct you to the latest version of R available. Currently, the latest version is R 3.6.1. So, once you go there, you actually download R 3.6.1. When we actually see this video, probably more recent version of R might be available. If it is available, download that. Now, after downloading it, you have to install by double clicking on the installer like you do for any other exe file, and it will get installed. Now, we actually use R Studio over R. R has its own UI, user interface also, but we use R Studio because I have seen, it is my personal opinion, and probably many other people will actually agree with me, that R Studio's UI is more user friendly than R's UI. There are lots of more options available, lots of more drag and drop kind of options or click kind of options are available, which makes it easier. And so, R Studio is also free, it is open source software. So, it is better to use that. So, we go to this particular link to download R Studio. So, when you go to the link, there are various versions of R Studio available, and we will use this RStudio desktop, which is a free version. And again, in the free version, for various OS, lots of different kinds of installers are available. We will use the RStudio, the latest version for Windows 10 or 8 or 7, because I am doing it for the Windows. So, the latest version currently available is RStudio 1.2.5001, but when you do it, further latest version can come, whichever is the latest version available, install that. Now, the problem with RStudio, a little bit of problem with RStudio is the newer versions are more focused towards 64-bit system. Now, by chance if you have a 32-bit system, you have to go to this link, and then the same thing, the latest, the oldest, here the older versions are there. The version which is most recent, but older, but at the same time handles 32-bit system, can be downloaded from here. So, you can download that and install that. For the marketing analytics purpose, both of these RStudio, whether it is 64-bit or compatible with 32-bit, both of them will work. So, we have no problem, install any one of them. So, once you have installed this, we will be able to go ahead with learning basic R programming, which will be used in marketing analytics course as we go proceed. Now, I will show you that how to start with RStudio. So, once you have installed it, you can go and click on this start button. RStudio might be shown there, or you can just search for RStudio, and RStudio will come. You can click on that, and once you click on that, something like this open. Now, for your case, for my case, there was already one file was open, but most of you, if you are doing it for the first time, this is something that you will see. This is a view, or probably something similar to this view is what you will see. Now, this is an UI, as I told that it is more friendly than R's own UI. And there are various aspects of this particular UI. Currently, you can see there are 3 boxes, 2 here and 2 in this part, and 1 is this side, and I will actually explain step by step what are the job of these particular boxes. Now, in any software, whether it is let us say Microsoft Word or Excel or whatever, you have to first start with a blank page, where you will write anything and save that particular file. Now, here also we will start with a blank page. That is the first job that we have to do, open a blank page. So, to do that, what I will do is I will go to file, at the corner, left corner you will see file, and then new file and R script, file, new file, R script. You can also click on Ctrl+Shift+N. So, that will open something like this. It is a new untitled file, that means it is a new file where no name is there. Now, it is a good practice that I believe that when you have opened a new file in, let us say Microsoft Word or Excel, it is a good practice that you save it. You save it so that later point of time, if you write something, you just press Ctrl+S and it gets saved. So, otherwise by chance if your computer hangs, or by chance sometimes it is a programming language. No, so if you run a program, sometime it can probably go for a, it can go get probably disturbed. So, that you do not lose your data, do not lose your code, it is a good practice to start saving from the very first. So, what I will ask you to do is to click on this button, which is a blue button, you can see it is a floppy disk kind of a button. If you can click, it is a save button actually. If you click on that, it will ask you what to save, and you choose anywhere. So, I will probably save in my desktop. There is something called, I have created a folder and I have probably write probably something like practice.r. Now, once I write that and save that, this particular file gets saved. Now, you are ready to use RStudio. So, there are lots of options, and not all option can be taught in the first day. So, we will slowly see that what are the various options available, how we can go ahead as per our requirement. So, first of all, there are 4 boxes that you can see. So, one box is here, one box is here, one box is here and another box is here. There are 4 boxes that you can see. Now, these 4 boxes, I love to say that they are 4 quadrants of my screen. Now, each of these quadrant has some job to do. The second quadrant, which is practice.r, where the practice.r is written, is an editor. This is where you write your code, this is where you save your code. So, for that, so that you can use it for the later point of time. So, this is where you write your code. On the other hand, this part, there are 3 tabs you can see: console, terminal and jobs. We will talk about console. So, console is the place where your code runs. So, when you run the code, all your result comes in the console. Now, in the right hand side, there is first quadrant and fourth quadrant. The right hand side at the top, in what we call as, what I love to call as first quadrant, is where the environment is there, history is there, and etc. So, I will focus on the environment part. So, history is also there and connections is also there, but the environment part I will focus on. Environment is where whatever data set, variable, matrix that you want to save, so that you can use it later, can be stored. For example, if you have ever done any coding, let us say in C or C++, you have done int I is equal to 0. So, that I is equal to 0 is something that in the name of I you are saving some value. So, that is that I value will be saved in this global environment. And in the fourth quadrant, there are lots of tabs, like files is one tab, and then plots is another tab, packages is another tab, and at the right time I will discuss about all these tabs. So, these are the 4 quadrants, as I told. Here I will write, here I will run the code. Now, I have already written a set of codes, but I would ask you that either it is a good practice that you copy the code from there, or you type it on your own and run the codes. Otherwise, you can follow the code that I have shared with you, but it is very good practice that you type on your own, because when you type on your own, you do the mistakes, and when you do the mistakes, you learn from those mistakes. It is very important to do mistakes. Until and unless you do mistakes in coding, you will not learn how to code. So, it is better that you type on your own, do mistakes, learn that what kind of things you have done, because if I code, I will write all of these things which are right, and that will not teach you anything. So, it is better that you write the codes on your own. Whatever I am showing there, you write on the editor manually on your own. So, in the file section, you will find out there is a file called w1s1.r. So, week 1 session 1.r. So, I am double clicking on that file and it will open something like this. So, other than that file, I have opened practice.r previously, I am closing it. So, at this moment I am closing all the things. It is again a good practice. Some people does what, so what you will see that some people, when they work on Word, multiple Word files remain open. Even some files which is not writing right now still remains open. What happens is, by chance if Microsoft Word hangs, then all of those things will have a problem, all the files will have a problem. So, it is a good practice to keep only that file open which you are using and close all other files. So, closing is nothing but just clicking on this cross sign. So, if you by chance have any other tabs open here, close that, and w1s1.r is something that we will work on. Now, those who want to code on their own, as I told that you have to, it is better you want to type on your own. So, then it is better that you open a new file and then save this file and then type it here. So, whatever is written here, you can copy it one by one and type it in here and then run it. So, then you will know that what kind of mistakes you are doing. Sometimes it is better not to copy or probably type on your own, then you will know what kind of mistakes you are doing and how you can rectify those mistakes. Now, let us say you have written these codes and I will come one by one. So, first good job is to cleanliness. Cleanliness is another very important thing for any coding, because then you will get less confused. So, do not write down anything, whatever I am telling now, do not write down anything. Again, it is a good practice to learn coding by practicing rather than by memorizing. So, it has to be it should come from your inside, that okay, this kind, or if it is not coming from inside, you should have a resource to fall back on, and that should not be something which is your notes. So, do not write down. So, first of thing that I will do is I will I will clean my console, and to do that what I will do is I will press Control L, Control L. So, I just press that Control and L, keeping Control and L. So, Control L cleans the console at any point of time. So, what Control plus L, that is what I have to keep the console clean. So, oftentimes we actually write lots of codes in the editor and run the codes, and we run multiple codes to see that which code is actually working, which code is actually giving out the output that I want. The previous ones I do not need. So, then I will just press Control L to clean my console. Console is where the codes run. So, now let us start with this thing. So, the first thing that you have to understand in R is that R has certain objects, like one object is called vector, another object is called matrix, another object is called data set. So, depending on dimensions, depending on the contents, depending on the various other aspects, the objects differ. So, the basic object, the most basic object of R is called a vector or a variable. So, you can imagine vector or variable is in Excel, it is a one column of an Excel or one row of an Excel. So, it is better to imagine one column of an Excel, which has a name at the top of the column, and then there are certain values in it. It can have one value, it can have multiple values. So, even if a particular some name contains only one value, that is a vector, multiple values also, that is a vector. So, for example, I start with, so I have written this, start with a vector. So, this is a comment, anything that starts with a hash sign is a comment. So, comment means it will run, but it will not give any result. So, how to run it? There are two ways of running it. One is you can select the area that you want to run, the code that you want to run, select and then press on this run button. See, it has, the moment I clicked run, it came down in the console, start with a vector, it got run, but it is a comment, it will give no output, nothing changed. So, that is the first step. Now, if you want to run 2-3 lines sometimes together, one at a time, 2-3 lines, you have to select probably the whole area. Let us say I want to run all these 3 and then click on run button, it will also run. Now, a good practice is select the area. Again, I believe that a good practice is to select exactly the portion of the code that you want to run. Sometimes we want to run line by line. So, instead of selecting the whole line, I can just put my cursor and then press run also. If I just put my cursor and press run, it will run one single line of code. So, here the second line of code is a is equal to 0, that will get run. So, it gets run, a is equal to 0, and the moment I run that a is equal to 0, you will see that in the global environment 0 gets saved in the value of a, means the name is a, there is a vector gets created whose name is a, and the corresponding value that gets created, that gets saved is 0. How will I use that? If I write in my console just a and then press an enter, I have written a and press an enter, it gives me 0. It gives me that the output is 0, it is like print a, it gives me the output is 0. There is something written in the third bracket of 1, I will discuss about this later. So, whatever is this guy is, I will discuss about it later, at a later right point I will discuss. Similarly, if you have done that, how to store a value of 5 in B? So, I have written B is equal to 5. Okay. And if I have written B is equal to 5, I will run this and see here in 5 gets saved in the name called B. See, just check these 3-4 lines. These 3-4 lines. So, first line is a is equal to 0. So, 0 gets saved in a, but nothing comes as per output. In the next line, I have written a and then pressed an enter. Now, I am calling a. So, whatever value is in a comes out. Next, again I have written b is equal to 5. So, 5 gets saved in b. but no output is there. It's just some code has run and something has been done, but nothing comes out. Now, if I ask the output B and press an enter, then only it gives me the output of B. How I can use this? Let us say I want to know what is A plus B. What is the summation of A plus B? I will write A plus B and press an enter. It gives me the output of A plus B. So, A is 0, B is 5, adds up. Similarly, A minus B, it gives me minus 5 and so on. A multiplication of B will give me 0 and so on. So, all of these things, A plus B, A minus B, A into B, all of these things are actually giving me certain output, but A is equal to 0 or B is equal to 5 is actually storing some value in A and B. So, that is the first step. So, these A and B are two vectors. Now, vector can be a little bit longer also. In real life situation, our columns in Excel are longer than one single value. So, here I have created two ways. One is I have written A is equal to 1 colon 10. So, I will select this and then I will run. So, the moment I run, you see that here the previous value of A got changed. So, A is equal to, A is an integer, it has been written that A is equal to A is an integer, int stands for integer, it has 10. This 1 colon 10 is that it is saying that it has 10 units, 10 values, 10 I would say addresses, and then those values are 1 to 10. So, even if these values were something different, you would have written 1 colon 10 only. So, this 1 colon 10 and this 1 colon 10 has no meaning, they are not same. This 1 colon 10 is saying that the address starts from 1 and goes up to 10. There are 10 addresses, 10 locations, 10 cells where some value is given, and then those values are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Similarly, if I run B is equal to C something something something, now this is what we have to understand a thing carefully. So, there are two types of things that you will see in R. One is something written, some x y z is written, let us say I have written x y z, some name I do not know, and then a first bracket. The moment I write this, you see something like this, where something is written and then a first bracket. A first bracket generally signifies a function. What is the job of a function? It gives certain input and it could work something and gives the output. So, that is the job of a function. On the other hand, by chance, if you have seen x, y, z and then a third bracket, it talks about a location, a address, a cell. So, mostly an address, not always a cell, an address. So, third bracket talks about an address, first bracket talks about a function which has some job. Similarly, here if you see, I have written B is equal to C and then first bracket. So, that means there is a function called C. What is its job? Its job is to give you a vector combination of whatever inputs you give. So, here the inputs are 2, 5, 6, 8, 9. These 5 numbers are the inputs. It converts this C function, converts the inputs to a vector form. So, if I just run this line, see here it is written 1 to 5, because there are 1 to 5 cells from first cell to fifth cell, and the contents are this. The difference between the first one and the second one is this is an integer, this is a numeric. The first one is integer because the moment I write A 1 colon 10, it knows that I am asking from 1 to 10 only the integer values. So, that is why it is putting int there. But when I am writing B is equal to C 2, 5, 6, 8, 9, the R does not know that whether I will write in the next time 9, 9.5, 10.3, 11.6 or whatever. It does not know whether the next entries of this particular series will be non-integers or not. So, that is why it is playing safe, it is putting numeric there. So, how to get them, how to print them? Here the allocation happened, nothing else. So, how to print them? If I print A and then press an enter, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I press B and press an enter, then I will get 2, 5, 6, 8, 9 and so on. Similarly, so these are the two. So, I will talk about the third this thing in a few minutes. So, then the next thing is length of A. How to find out how long a particular vector is? Oftentimes, to run a loop, we have to know at what point it is ending. So, what is the length of A? Length of A, length is a function, and then if I just select it and press run, it will give me length of A is 10, because A has 10 inputs. Easy, nothing fancy till now. So, I will save this. C is equal to length of B is finding the length of B. See, I have written the so whatever I told that whatever written after a hash is a comment, that will have no meaning. Whatever written before the hash is not a comment, so that will run. So, C is equal to length of B. What happens? Length of B gives me what? 5, because B has 5 entries. That 5 value gets saved in C. Now, why I have written this is you have to identify that this C, the one that I highlighted, and this C is different. This C is a name of a particular vector and this C is a function. R actually more or less understands that, but for oftentimes you have to be careful that what you are writing. Class is another function which gives you what class it is, means what type of object it is. So, class of A is an integer, class of B is a numeric, and class of C is a integer again, because C is also an integer. So, you can any point of time you can write class to find out. Now, I will show you another interesting thing. Let us say I wanted you to find out something called a sequence, and sequence starts from 1, ends at 30 with a jump of 2. So, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 and so on till it reaches 30. Now, I know that this particular function is called sequence function, a SEQ function. So, probably let us say if you know that the function's name is SEQ, for example, previously I knew class and length. So, if I know the name of the function, I can ask the help like this, help within bracket SEQ, to know that what are the various aspects, and in the right side you will see that how the help documentation is coming, all the help documentation. So, you can read it a little bit. So, that is how I am showing in the 4th quadrant, one tab I am showing, which is called the help tab. There are other tabs, we will come to that when it is required. So, in the help tab there is description, there is usage. So, in the usage you will see that here it is written help from is equal to this, to is equal to this, by is equal to something. And as you go down it says from and to is the starting and end values of the sequence, by is the number increment of the sequence. And if you further come down, you have to read it carefully. If you further come down, the usage of also is given. There is one usage is called sequence 1, 9 by is equal to 2. So, I can probably copy this and paste it here and try what is giving. Okay, it is giving 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. That means, it starts at 1, ends at 9, each jump is 2. That is why if I save this, if I run this now and then try to print A, I got 1, 3, 5, 7 because it starts at 1, ends at 30 by 2. Now, you can do this thing as long as you know the function's name SEQ. That is how I found out. I ran the help and it gave me all the helps. If you do not know the function, in real life situation you will not, there are lots of functions. There are probably millions, if not millions, if lakhs of function at least. For a single human being, it is almost impossible to remember all the functions, their syntax and etc. So, you have to, you do not even remember the names. So, what to do? We will actually try to see in the next video. Thank you. We will continue from this particular line only from the next video. Thank you for being in my class. Hope you will have a wonderful learning journey.